Okay, when should you complete the square to begin with, even before I do this segment? Completing the square, the most straightforward one for number one is your equation has no roots. So you press the calculator, but you realize there's no roots to your equation. So you want to complete the square and form something like that, x plus a square plus b. And this term will surely be positive because you have no roots. Okay, the b will be positive. Second situation that you want to complete the square is on your calculator. When you calculate, now you get, let me just use this word, ugly roots. Your terms are not nice. You don't have a nice fraction or a nice whole number and so on. It's actually because your answer will have surds. There will be square roots involved. So for example, if you complete the square and then you now get a minus sign, there could be a minus 5. So when you solve, there will be ugly numbers. You want to complete the square because it will help you factorize this way. I can do a plus b, so there will be a root 5. Okay, let me write above a little bit out of space, and this on the right side. Okay, times. I factorized from my a squared minus b squared. I treat this as a squared minus b squared. So I go for a plus b and a minus b. Okay, so these are two situations that you may want to complete the square, either no roots or ugly roots. Okay, if not, you will just factorize nicely. Okay, so let's say it's the first situation. There are no roots. After you complete the square, it should look something like this, where this d value is a positive number. Help me to add this in. Okay, so if d is a positive number, this whole term is always positive. How do you deal with that? Let's say you have that appearing in a denominator. If it's in the denominator, what you want to do is you think about it as this term is multiplied across. So it will disappear. The whole denominator will disappear. Then you get x plus a, x plus b more than 0. Okay, why we can just multiply over? There's two reasons. Number one is, even if you set it to be 0, you don't get a critical point. There's no solution. Second is, it's always positive, so it will not affect the inequality. Okay, you multiply over, it's still more than, the sign won't change. Okay, so on the right, similar, let's say this appears in your numerator. I know that this term is more than 0. So what do we do? This time you divide over. Even if it's in the numerator, doesn't matter. So I will get a 1 over. Then you have x plus a, x plus b more than 0. And so in this fraction, first I check, must always check right-hand side already 0. If it's not 0, please move everything to one side and combine first. I now get quadratic at the top and bottom. I will need to factorize. I will check on the calculator first. We will do it on the calculator, see whether you have roots. The one at the top, you won't get any roots, so I will complete the square. So can I just do it by the side? Okay, I'm assuming we have pressed calculator lah, that we check there is no roots here. So no roots, go and complete the square. Okay, so we simplify. Now for the denominator, can I remind you on what is cross-factorization? Some of you do in the tic-tac-toe box, but for me, I do it this way, okay, depending on your preference. Okay, so let's say this is the quadratic equation. I will place 2x squared here and minus 5 here. The 9x will be on the right side. Cross-factorization is you think of two terms that multiply up to give you this. Let's recall from secondary school. So I will have 2x and x multiplied to give me 2x squared. To get minus 5, I will need 5 and 1. So I must put 5 here and 1 here, so that when you multiply up, it will be this direction, and this gives you 10x. The other one with x and 1 will give you the value x. And last column is always to add up. So in order to get 9x, I need the negative to be at x, so the negative is at 1. Okay, so minus 1 times 5 gives me minus 5. Okay, if you remember in the tic-tac-toe kind of manner, you continue with what you're familiar with. Okay, but what is the reason why you want to do this since you can press calculator? Okay, it's not for this question, it's to safeguard against there are unknowns. Sometimes you have coefficients that are unknowns. Then you can't press the calculator, you want to do cross-factorization. Okay, so with this, I can form it back to our equation. So at the top over here, we continue with the x minus 2 squared plus 3. Denominator, we use our cross-factorization. Okay, so the top part, 2x minus 1 will give you one factor. X plus 5 will give you another factor lesser than 0. When you want to remove that numerator, you have to quote a reason. So I have to say, since this value is positive for all x values that are real numbers, so this will be lesser than 0. You remove that numerator. As long as your term is always positive, you can remove it.